Hey ho people, it's Stylosa and Kirioth from YouLost.com, and this is another amazing gaming news weekly, son. Would you believe it? Would you believe it's already been a week?
I don't like how quickly these weeks go.
Well, you better believe it, son. The first port of call I've got is a Battlefield 3 Physical Warfare Pack gameplay trailer.
Yeah, to be honest, I don't really care about the physical warfare pack. I'm not all that
I don't
fussed.
care. I did care. I don't care now because I've got the limited edition coming because you get that for free. Like, but I did care when I originally saw it. I was like, what is this? I don't want any part of this because it gives you, it gives you like additional weapons, little add-ons to the weapons like the anti-flash thing to the end of the sniper rifle, so you don't give away your position and all that stuff. And that's like, yeah, that's not exactly very fair, is it? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I just don't care now, though. I mean,
because you've got it.
well, yeah. So I just don't care. I'm just like whatever. But they do say that they're gonna basically give it away for free, ain't they? At some point.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
that's why I'm not that fussed because there was such an outcry about it. It looks like they sort of changed their minds a bit. So,
well, talking about outcries, I'm sure you'd like to pick up on the next little bit of news that was off UnitLost.com.
oh, the I could hardly say it. Makes me cry. Warhammer Space Marine Co-op DLC, which is severely lacking. They talked about co-op all the time. They were making it. They're like, "Oh yeah, it's gonna have co-op. Oh, it's definitely yeah, we're making co-op." And people said, "Oh, what sort of co-op is this?" And they went, "Ah, well, all will be revealed." And do you know what they revealed, son? That there was no co-op campaign whatsoever, and it's just some gash four-player survival mode. Now, that is not that.
That
I,
oh.
word,
Oh,
words fail
that is
me.
not what we wanted. We wanted a co-op Space Marine game, just going through the single player, just throw in more enemies. Even if it was just such a simple fix as that'd be great. Because don't you run with two other guys anyway? Which I don't even know what kind of tactical Marine squad that is. The captain and two lads. What's that about?
Yeah,
Shouldn't there be 10 of them?
You're forced to use these two NPCs, and there's absolutely no option to replace one of the NPCs with another player. It would have been so easy to do, and they didn't do it.
We're not happy about it.
It's disgusting.
Whether it comes down to they didn't have the time, the deadlines are upon them, or whatever, we're not happy about it. Looking forward to the single player game, and also to the. I mean, it's obviously out now, but we're still waiting on review copies to come from THQ. That's why there's been no content on Unit Lost about the game itself. But there will be reviews and that, so keep your eyes peeled for that. And there's also the multiplayer, which should be kind of funny. I can't see it lasting all that long, but I can see it being kind of funny, and there'll be some comedy clips of that, no doubt, on the YouTube channel. Yeah. Well, the next thing is, this is kind of old news, but I came across this, and essentially, threat is being removed from World of Warcraft. Now, I have always played tanks in MMO games, EverQuest 2, Warcraft, Warhammer Online, all of them that I've played. I've been a tank. Now, threat or aggro or any kind of mechanic where you have to build up a certain type of meter to make the boss attack you via itemization and using attacks that build threat is kind of the point of a tank class. That is you tanking. So if you remove that from the game and all you simply do is just spam your attacks at a boss and then you get aggro anyway just through doing damage, it's like, hang on a minute, that seems a bit dumb. Now, I don't play World of Warcraft now, so neither does Kirioth, so it's kind of hard for us to, really go in and slay it. But for me, that seems quite bad.
If they'd have done that whilst we were playing, whilst I was still maining my paladin, who was a tank or a healer, I'd have gone wild because it just takes all the, what's the point? Anyone could do it.
It just goes back to the old dumbing down argument, don't it? Time and time
Yeah.
again with that. They're just cutting things out of the game. Can you blame them for it, though? I mean, because they are targeting the main player base, who are essentially people who go into the random dungeon finder. They're not high-end raid guilds or any of that. But the problem with that is you start alienating the people who have got a voice on the internet. Because, like, average Joe who plays Warcraft, he's not going to go around on forums and absolutely smash him with loads of abuse, is he? It's going to be Raider Man Bob. He's going to be like, what's going on here? He's going to be the one on the forums causing the storm. So it's like, it's kind of double-edged. But when you look at it from a business point of view, if you've got these figures are made up. If you've got 80% of your player base are just casual, it's probably more actually, but let's just say 80%. you're going to give them content, ain't you? And I mean, how many dungeons have you done? You know, I mean, what? It must be getting on for like a year and a half since I last played that. But I mean, how many dungeons have you done where you've gone into the dungeon queue and had a tank who's totally crap?
Yeah, I have to admit, it didn't happen. Well, actually, no. To be honest, I never had that much of a problem with tanks, but I don't know whether that was because I was incredibly lucky. Or
well, I was a tank, so it's kind of hard for me. I mean, I remember I did kind of go in sometimes as DPS, like, and you if you got a bad tank, it was a bad experience for everyone in the group. And I think what they're doing is they're just trying to get rid of that. And that's kind of stupid, because then you're just literally a DPS class. And the only difference with you and DPS is you hit the mob first. And even if they hit it first, it doesn't matter, because you'll do more damage. Because essentially what the changes are the threat generated by classes in their tanking mode. So if you was warrior, you had a defensive stance, or a, you know, the bear form for the druids and whatever. It's been increased from 3 times damage done to 5 times damage done. So they haven't removed threat, but they've just made you generate so much threat. It's crazy. So it's strange. It's very strange, and it's like it's strange on one hand, and it irritates me because you get companies looking at games like World of Warcraft and they think, look how much money that's made. Well, I'll tell you what, prime example of this is Star Wars: The Old Republic. It's like, look how much money that's made. Let's clone it. You know, it just make. I mean, I know Star Wars is in the clone, but you know, it follows the same model to a point. And it's like if WoW goes around smashing everything into the floor, and then just turns around and says, "Well, look, we've got 11 million subscribers or whatever they've got," although the numbers are dropping, and then money men are like, "We need something like that." You lads need to design something like that, and I don't want no stupid this or that. I want this now. Get in the treadmill, the sweatshop, or whatever, and work that. And I want to see answers.
I don't like it. I don't like the fact that everything is compared to World of Warcraft. I don't particularly like the fact that whenever something new comes out, it's immediately built.
Oh, what is it? WoW killer.
Yeah, because that to me puts a lot of pressure on a lot of companies to repeat the same things that Blizzard are doing, which they shouldn't do. And I mean, you can always say, yeah, well, this game's got this thing different, this game's got this different, but it's always going to come down to the same comparison. And if a game's going to be compared to another game of a similar type, I prefer it to be compared and said it's a lot more difficult than it's like WoW. Because
I think what will happen is, and this will be quite a good, you know, like a gauge of worth, well, like a good competition. When Guild Wars 2 comes out and Star Wars comes out, I think what will happen is you'll get a what the hell was that, son?
I'm afraid my microphone just fell off, but carry on, it's fine. I shall repair in situ.
There was you've got Star Wars: The Old Republic, yeah. I forgot what I was saying now. You've absolutely kipping me, son. Guild Wars 2 versus Star Wars: The Old Republic, yeah. Yeah, you'll get there's no doubt you'll get a big number of players to begin with on Star Wars, because it's Star Wars, so it'll sell, you know, quite a lot. The challenge for them will be keeping people interested. Then you've got Guild Wars 2. Now, you buy Guild Wars 2, you've got Guild Wars 2 forever, but Guild Wars 2 isn't Star Wars, you see what I'm saying? So, Guild Wars 2 is relying on it being new, you know, new mechanics, different types of play style, different way of, you know, playing an MMO where you buy the game and, you know, you don't have to pay. I know Guild Wars 1 or Guild Wars was the same. You know, you just bought the expansions. So they're throwing that in the mix. But what I guess they're banking on is this big pool of players who were playing World of Warcraft, and then went and played Rift, then come back to World of Warcraft, and then are like, I want something new. Oh yeah, I'm going to play Star Wars: The Old Republic. But they might play Guild Wars, and I think Guild Wars will do quite well, Guild Wars 2. But it'd be interesting to watch that unfold.
I hope it does, to be honest, because it looks really good, and I know I'm going to pick it up when it comes out, because it looks to be something a bit different.
Yeah.
I know a lot of MMOs have come out and said, yes, we're doing something different, when actually they've been doing things exactly the same. But
I am looking forward to it, because it's kind of like a hole in my gaming locker at the moment, and I've been without an MMO for, like, you know, approaching 2 years probably, 1.5 to 2 years, and it's like, it's kind of
don't feel right, does it?
No, it's like, what am I doing here? It's like. Anyway, let's move on some. So the next thing we got is Deus Ex downloadable content, which I believe is that was the announcement of the announcement. We'll go on to that later on, actually, because we've got more news on that. No, that's quite a funny thing that happened. I'll let Mr. Kirioth tell you all about this.
I liked this. I probably shouldn't have done because it wasn't very nice for a lot of people. But Dead Island, well, it was released on Steam, which is fair enough. A lot of games get released on Steam, but there was a slight problem with the Dead Island that was released on Steam for the old Americans, and that was that they released the dev build to them instead of the final version of the game. Which, yeah, I have to say, as cock-ups go, that's a pretty monumental one. You don't want to be giving everyone the dev build because there are people saying that just pressing like certain keys turned on God mode or no clip or killed everything or brought everything to life or gave you all the weapons.
It's what you get though, ain't it, bloke, for jumping on the zombie bandwagon years too late. I mean, I didn't, to be honest, I didn't really give a shit about Dead Island. I'm like, Dead Island, whatever. Running around killing zombies on an island. I know that's not much of a point, much of an argument, but it's like it did not interest me. I'm like,
yeah, but I think the zombie thing's been done, to be honest.
Yeah, but it can still be done well. But it's just like, I didn't care. I just did not care about that game. So when that news popped up, I found it kind of hilarious. I was like, something of interest about Dead Island to me. Good lord.
Well, the next thing, it's Call of Duty.
Oh, dear.
I hate saying it, but I've got to say it because it was in the news. But Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, and they released a multiplayer trailer, which looks exactly like Call of Duty would do if you were playing the first one.
Yeah, but it's worse though. It's like it's on steroids. I remember Modern Warfare. Well, Call of Duty 4, Modern Warfare. Not Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, just the first one, Modern Warfare. I remember that, and I remember that was good. You know, a little bit of arcadey shooter action to it. You know, with the points and the upgrades and whatever you get. But this is like an absolute shit fest. It's like hundreds and hundreds of things are just spilling over the screen. Do you remember the stupid video Bulletstorm did? Epic Games did. You know, like Call of whatever that was. Where it was like, whoa, Super Sergeant Upgrader Man and all that. It's like that, but worse. It's like, bang, bang, upgrade. And it's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. People were dying. And then you'd have like, the dog tags was like spilling out of them. It was like, what the hell?
It was just absolutely everything you did resulted in something appearing on the screen. It's like, turn a corner, shoot someone, you reload, you look up, you look down, upgrade, you've looked
upgrade,
up.
Reload a man. Oh my god!
Leave me alone, please.
It just was like, I don't know. I don't care at all about Modern Warfare, which is like, it's because I played Bad Company 2, which is a far better game than the Modern Warfare games to me, because the destructible environment took it to another level. You could argue it's maybe not as accurate when it comes to the shooting man part, because it did feel a little bit sludgy sort of thing Bad Company did, but you didn't really care about that, and it is accurate, so. It's not like Counter-Strike, probably what I'm trying to say. Whereas Modern Warfare was a little bit more like that, a little bit more precise sort of thing. But I ain't got a clue about Modern Warfare 3 now that plays. Again, this is just going back to me talking about Modern Warfare 4. Modern Warfare? What the hell? Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare? Fucking hell. The naming scheme's terrible. But then they can't change the name because then the dickheads won't know what game to buy. Fucking hell. I'm getting aggressive now. No, I'm moving on to the next point. The next thing was Dead Island then fixed itself because it was in the abyss, which obviously they had to do.
There are a lot of bugs, to be honest, for the patch to fix. Problems.
What is with the games on Steam being released full of bugs?
I start this quality control whatsoever, isn't it?
Well, where is the quality control? Do Steam have quality control? I think maybe if Steam had a quality control, it would be too much for them to do. Maybe delay the games too much.
I think if Steam had quality control, they wouldn't have released the dev build on it in the first place. I think that's enough proof that they don't really check what's submitted.
I don't know how you must have like a developer account for Steam where you can just upload your games to it, or upload stuff to it, or do whatever. Because I remember there was an issue before with Terraria. They put their price of Terraria at like $1.99, then they suddenly changed it to $3.99 or something for like a special offer. Because they got it wrong, but they were saying they had control over that. I'm not entirely sure how it works, but still, comedy off Dead Island, off who made Dead Island? Is it
Deep Silver, isn't it?
Deep Silver, yeah. Comedy show off them lads, and then talking about comedy shows, we get to this has actually been revealed as a viral for some Dutch crap, which I don't know, but it was Slavery the Game. And at the time, it was like, what the hell is this? Slavery the Game. I was like, this looks like something totally stupid. And Kirioth, as you can see in his news post when you check it out on unitlost.com, he's going on about it's probably a hoax, and indeed it was a hoax, but still, it was.
I'm just glad it wasn't, because even if it wasn't, then to be honest, the whole concept of the game, it's just a terrible idea. So I'm unbelievably glad that someone has actually not come out and said, "Oh yeah, this is real," because that would have made me lose faith in quite a few things, humanity included.
Ubisoft would be developing it, publishing it even. You'd love it. So the next thing we got, son, is the Sengoku developer walkthrough. And now I don't understand this. I'm just going to say that these grand strategy games, it's like I want to play them, but then it's like you're just looking at a spreadsheet. It's worse than EVE Online. It's like I'm looking at the screen. Now I loaded up the Sengoku early access copy, and the graphics are nice, nice water effects for what it can be, because it's essentially just a map that you're looking at. But because it's Japanese, I don't understand any of the terms, like any of the Japanese names, and I just don't know what the hell's what. So, if some guy's like, I am the king of Japan, he ain't going to be called that. He's going to be called like the Huaki Haido, whatever. And I'm like, what's going on here? And it's like, I think it's just a case of like massive information overload, and I'm sitting there, and I feel like I'm at work then, and I'm not playing a game. I'm like, all right then, to play this game, I've got to read this massive manual. Good lord.
I can give you the review I did on Twitter, because this was my review.
It's a highly detailed review.
It is highly detailed. In fact, if you sign up to Unit Lost Gaming on Twitter, you'll be able to see it, because it was retweeted. But I wanted to give you an in-depth look at Sengoku, but I'll be fucked if I can work out what I'm supposed to do. I gave it a try, got a headache, and then went for a lie down. So in short, fuck it.
That's not saying it's a bad game, because Dimitri, he loves it. He's saying it's great now, but he likes grand strategy games.
I can't even comprehend it, so it's just beyond me. It's on an entirely different intellectual level than I am, so I just no. That's it.
Then we go on to the Diablo 3 beta is go. Now the beta client's out, and I think it's some kind of like selective beta is running at the moment, but the closed beta should be going out on the 12th of September, but don't quote me on that. I suggest you go and Google that to be sure.
Yeah, I think it's the friends and family at the moment, isn't it?
Is it? I'm sure it was pretty close. Like the 12th was. I don't know. You'll have to Google it and find out. But the beta client is available for download, and if you search for Diablo 3 on unitlost.com, you'll find the article. And there's a link to our forums as well, because there's a discussion going on in the forums, and also there's a lot of screenshots I did from the leaked beta client, which show the the menus. And I can't obviously log into the game because I don't have a beta account, but I can. And if anybody has a beta account that they want to give me, then email it to contact@unitlost.com. Pure. But so I'll put screenshots up there, but there's not really that much we can really say about it at the moment, apart from it looks like it's about to start imminently. So imminent. Good lord.
This is the best news. If you like trading useless items, the Steam trading, son, that's now.
I don't even understand what this is. What is it? Can you just give people?
You can just trade. You know how before you could trade like games with your mates.
Yeah,
with your friends
gift
on
and
Steam.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, you can now do it with anyone. I think effectively is what they're saying, and you can trade. Now you see,
what, for money? Can you sell the stuff?
No. You can only trade items, because you can trade stuff for Team Fortress 2, Spiral Knights. Why?
Spiral Knights is shit. What?
And Portal 2. I thought it was just these three things, because in the press release that's all it said, right? But Dimmy actually corrected me and said, "Oh no, using Steam trading you can trade games as well. So if you've got like 2 copies of a game, and I don't know, I still can't really work out how you'd end up with like a spare copy of a game, unless perhaps you bought a 4-pack.
You couldn't misclick, I suppose.
Yeah, and you only had 2 people to send it to or something. But you can trade all manner of useless stuff from Team Fortress, Spiral Knights. Again, why?
So hang on. So could you make money off this then? So could you go in, right, and say there's a Steam deal on for like a 4-pack of Left 4 Dead 2, and it's $10. So you buy it, yeah, and you've got 4 copies, right? So you wait like a scumbag for the offer to go, yeah. So it goes back up to its normal price. You then turn up and you're like, yeah, I'll give you a copy of Left 4 Dead 2 if you give me this or that, and you effectively make money. Could you do? I'm sure you could do that then. And where do you even get the people from to trade with? Is it just in a forum?
No, there's like a marketplace thingy.
Oh.
So, I mean, I don't know, you might be able to do that. I don't know whether I just don't know enough about it to tell you whether there's any sort of restrictions on values, like whether you can turn up and say, I'll give you a Team Fortress 2 hat if you get me, I don't know, Batman, Arkham Asylum or whatever.
Yeah.
But I'd have thought it would be down to the people trading to know what's going on, because they can't, if they regulate it too heavily, it'll make it not worth doing, won't it?
Mm.
And also, the value of stuff's subjective. If you bought a 4-pack of Left 4 Dead 2 and you've given 2 of the copies to your mates and you've just got one that you don't want anymore, you'd be quite happy to trade it for anything, I'd imagine, if you can't get rid of it.
Mm.
So,
but if you know you can get rid of it at a later date when it's worth more, you might be a scumbag. I'm sure that'll go on if that's the case. But I've not looked at it, so I don't know. And the next thing we've got is Game of Thrones Genesis release date reveal with new screenshots. Game of Thrones on the telly was absolutely pure, and the books are meant to be really good as well, but I haven't got a chance. Oh, do excuse me there. Good lord, I haven't had a chance to read the books. I'm too busy with Unit Lost. But the series on I think it was a HBO series, but it was on Sky Atlantic for people in the UK. Was absolutely pure. And if the game's anything sort of like that, it's kind of like an RTS game with a different twist in it. Can't you win battles with not actually killing them?
It seems to be quite close to grand strategy, actually. It's not necessarily good news, but there's all sorts of underhanded things you can do. You can just play political games, you can buy other people's armies out, you can win battles without actually raising your own army by, I'm guessing, either assassinating the general or paying them off or starting a war somewhere else with that Nate. It's crazy. It's just a massive load of ridiculous politics and...
Well, that's how Game of Thrones is. So yeah, all the houses against each other. Well, to a point, the ones who work together. So it could be quite good.
Worth keeping an eye on.
Yeah, one to look out for. Now, the next thing is we've got a bit of an editorial off Mr. Kirioth about graphics don't make the game, and I'm sure he'd like to go into detail.
Well, it's not a rant. It's just a little comment on the fact that I'm one of those people who quite often says graphics don't make the game. You know, if something comes out and it's fun but it doesn't look very good, you can get past it and you can just carry on because the graphics might not be good, but the game is. However, the graphics can actually break the game, which is something that I'm experiencing in Deus Ex at the moment, and it's crushing my enjoyment of it because every time I look at any details, it's a horrible little artifact-ridden JPEG stuck on the wall, and in a world that immersive, you cannot have something that is that out of place.
Well, hang on. Let's just talk about the graphics thing first, and then we'll go on to Deus Ex, because that's quite, like, important. I think with the graphics is, you get, like... They don't make the game, but they do break the game, like you said. I do agree with that. The thing is, the graphics are what... They're like most of how you interact with the game. You know, that's what you see on the screen. You know, beyond the sound and the... what kind of controls the game's got, you know, what if you're using a joystick and mouse, whatever, then the graphics are literally, you know, you could say 80% of what you're doing, 10% sound. I know people will argue with me, go, well, no, sound's a lot better, but whatever. But the graphics, they need to be good, and they need to fit the game. Not be good, that's not right. They need to fit the game. So if you've got something like Terraria, which you know is a little stupid indie release, and it's about, well, it's essentially about 2D digging, ain't it? You expect that to have its graphics, and you let it off for that. And it's like, well, that's okay. You know, Minecraft, you can kind of let that off for its graphics as well. I think Minecraft's coded in Java or something, so it's like, whatever. You can let Minecraft off. But then when you look at something like... well, let's use Hard Reset as well. You look at Hard Reset, that is not a AAA title. Yet the graphics engine on Hard Reset, which is like a cyberpunky world, like Deus Ex, let's go on Apple, an order of magnitude better than... the engine that's on Deus Ex. It's like Deus Ex is a AAA title. It should have graphics befitting of its, you know, level of development. It should not have a graphics engine, which is terrible. Because, well, I'll let you go into it, son, about the immersion, because it's like, and I'll just chip in because I could just talk for ages about it. Because I've played Deus Ex for quite some time, and I think I'm very close to the end. I don't want to spoil it for anyone. Like,
well, the problem I'm having is that Deus Ex has got a fantastic story. I like the characters. I like the way you interact with the world, like the way you do the hacking, the way you upgrade yourself. The fact that you die if you get shot in the head, I like that because that is actually quite realistic. You know, you might be a big Cyberman, but if you get shot in the head, that's where your brain is, you're going down. It's all those little things that make it feel real. And 90% of the time, the graphics don't really have that much of a bad effect. It's when you get properly immersed, there'll be a moment where you'll run into something and it'll be a cardboard box and it won't move. Or you'll run past something and you'll look at it and you'll see a horribly pixelated, artifact-ridden JPEG where you expected to see something that fitted in the world. It's just little things like that that sort of jar it and make it so you're no longer immersed.
It's fucking rancid. I mean, in my video on the YouTube channel, Unit Lost Tube, I was like, I bashed consoles too much. I'm like, oh, it's console. It must be consoles that are causing the graphics. I ain't exactly too sure it is consoles which have caused the graphics problems, because there are games on the consoles, you know, Gears of War, Oblivion. You know, Oblivion came out in, when did that come out? 2006 or something like that. Massively, massively better graphics than what Deus Ex is displaying. And you can argue with me, oh yeah, Deus Ex is a big world. Not really. Deus Ex, as you go into the same environments quite a lot. It's not, there ain't that much stuff in Deus Ex, you know. And little pissy things like a filing cabinet, for example. You know that filing cabinet will always open because that's the same type of, that's like the only model of filing cabinet they've got that will open. So they put it everywhere and it's like, oh yeah, oh, I can open this now. I know I can open this. So you just end up running past places because you know you can't open that. It's like, Now, Oblivion, again going back to that, you could open practically everything in Oblivion. You could in Morrowind, for fuck's sake. In Deus Ex, it's like, no, you can't touch that. You know, there's no physics on hardly anything apart from stuff they want you to move. And it's like, if it wasn't for the fact that I enjoy the story, yeah, and I think it helps me because I've been playing it really late at night, early hours of the morning. You know, I'm sitting there in the dark with my headset on. The sound's fucking amazing on Deus Ex. The track, you know, really fits it. It's like, bloody hell, this is good. The story's good. The graphics are just like a bit, you know, they're terrible, really. I'm just going to say it, they're fucking shit. They're terrible. They shouldn't be like that. But then you've got the AI, and the AI is like another thing as well. It's like, what? There's another clip on the Unit Lost YouTube channel, Unit Lost Tube, and there's a point in the game where, you know, certain people go crazy, and they come running towards you. But if you jump on a box, they can't attack you. Now the hilarious thing about this is they should be attacking each other, you know, because you go past an area where you see people, you know, who are dead because they've attacked each other. Yet in my clip, you can blatantly see these three guys are only interested in attacking me, and because I'm on a box, it's too hard for them to attack me. So they just stand there, and it's like, it's like, what the hell is this? And then again, we're going to more examples. Like Kirioth was telling me, like, well, he doesn't have to tell me because I know it's the truth, but I'll ignore it because I don't want to see it. It's like, no, it's not there. You can, like, you're in plain sight of people, yet they don't see you. You can shoot people in the face and kill them, and the mates won't care, or, you know, or they'll be like, oh, he's over there, he's over there, but they won't do anything. They'll just stand there with a gun out.
Yeah, that is another thing.
And this is not like we're playing an outdated version either. This is the up-to-date version of the game, and it's like, what the hell is this?
Yeah, I mean that's something I didn't really mention, but it's something that in itself needs its own article because it is that bad. I mean, within 15 minutes of playing the game, I was assaulting a factory thing. It's one of the first missions you get. Well, it's pretty much the second mission you get, actually. And I was literally, my method of killing people was to press myself up against one side of a wall and then peek around a door frame. Now, I was in full view of these guys. 5 computer-controlled guys standing there, staring at me, shouting, there he is. Not one of them fired. They all stood in the open, shouting about how they could see me. I was able to kill every single one with an extremely slow and well-placed headshot because they did nothing. Now, that also breaks immersion quite badly because no one behaves like that. I mean, I know AI is actually quite a tricky thing to pull off well, but for God's sake, I mean, let's look at Half-Life 2. The tripods, the big 3-legged lads, they actually would walk round obstacles of their own accord. They'd duck under stuff. They'd step over
fucking hell!
stuff.
What about them big robots on hard reset that lift the legs up and shit to dodge the attacks?
Yeah, exactly. And in Deus Ex, a AAA title, we've got guys standing in corridors, shouting at you but not shooting, and guys who can't attack you because a cardboard box apparently forms an impenetrable barrier around your legs. I mean, what is this about?
And also,
it's just not good enough.
The alarm lasts for about a minute, and then they're like, "Oh, back to work." As you see in my Deus Ex review clip, it's just like you're shooting policemen dead in a police station, and they don't care. It's like they stand up and like, "Oh no, we're under attack. The alarms will go off," and you think, "Right, okay, that's quite bad. I'm going to get killed now." No, I just hide a minute, and I'll come back. Oh, they're back at work now with old Lenny shot dead up the corner. It's like, it's absolutely dodgy, and it galls me. Absolutely, like it's like, I like the game, but it's a failure because it ain't good enough. It's like, now I remember Deus Ex when that came out. What year did that come out? But even that, for its time, had bad graphics. Like, people used to say, "Oh, the graphics were quite bad for that," and they were really. But it didn't really matter as much because it wasn't super bad. Whereas this is like, yeah, you could probably say this ain't super bad. It is though. And for a game like this, where most of the game is the world. I mean, you imagine Skyrim, if that come out with crap graphics, yeah, look really poor. You just wouldn't feel like you was in the world that they've designed for you, and it's a shame because you can see they got the art direction to design nice stuff like the Hive, the nightclub, and things like that. You know, that look good, but they just ain't got the engine, or they haven't developed the engine for it. And it's like, ain't got the engine's not even an excuse because they could just buy an engine, like, you know, they could get licenses for the Unreal Engine and all kinds of stuff, and it's like terrible damage.
It's just a massive disappointment, isn't it? It's not.
Yeah.
It's not even as though it's a bad game. This is the thing. I mean, people might sit there and go, "Oh, are you saying it's bad?" No, it's not a bad game. It really isn't a bad game, but it's let down by stuff that it should not be let down by.
If you like following a story throughout a game, but you're not too fussed about the actual quality of the gameplay, then I'd recommend it to you. But that in itself sounds absolutely fucking retarded. Why would I say to you, "Yeah, Mr. Kirioth, here's a game. The graphics are a bit dodgy. The AI is totally crap. It's easy even when it's on difficult, you know, the hardest setting. But it's got a good storyline." It's kind of like watching a film. I think that's a way to put it. It's like watching a film where in between the film you get to run around a bit. It's crazy. It's crazy. I'm not going to tell you whether to buy it or not, or whether it's pure or not, because it is in parts, and in other parts it's not. It's like lacking quite bad. I mean, I remember watching what was it, Total Biscuit's recording of it, where he's just shooting people with a crossbow, and like again, this was illustrated in my recording. You shoot one guy in the face with a crossbow, you know, it's gone through his head. Everybody else in the street, what would happen if you went downtown, yeah, with a crossbow, right, and shot somebody in the face, yeah, right? What do you think would happen? Would everybody just crouch down like they're having a shite, like having a crack? No, they wouldn't, would they? They'd run away, and they'd run away straight away, but they don't. And it's like, this is evident across how many clips you want to watch of Deus Ex on YouTube. It's just like, it's
disappointment
just
of
like,
the year, effectively.
Well, it is, yeah, it absolutely is. It is for me so far, unless, you know, Battlefield or Skyrim or anything else like that absolutely collapses. But I can't even see that happening. I just, whatever. Anyway, let's roll on some. Planet Side 2's coming in early 2012, is it?
Well, this is a rumour. What's it? Oh, there he is. I do apologise. John Smedley. I couldn't read his name for a minute there.
Old Smedley.
Old Smedley. Smedley's Medley. He went and spoke to 17173.com, which I have no idea what that means.
Oh no, that's that crazy Chinese site, ain't it?
Yeah.
God.
He was talking about Planet Side 2. And apparently, I'll be damned if I can find it, but then I'm using Google Translate, so what does that even mean? There are
Why would you even be talking to them?
I don't know. But there are suggestions that it'll be coming out sort of early 2012 and in beta by the end of the year. But really, it's only rumours. It could well be true, because it's been in development for a while, I think, and there's been no other information so far, but at the moment that's what it's kind of looking like. That's what people who can actually speak the language and can make sense of what Google turns Chinese into have said. So it does say it's just a rumour, but
I don't know why I would even go to a Chinese website to announce this. Surely, if he was going to announce it, announce it across, you know, websites throughout the world. Who knows? I mean, for me, Planet Side, PlanetSide 1, there's some right epic stories of that. I mean, Rock Paper Shotgun's got some good write-ups on that. There's good YouTube clips, massive army attacks. It looks like it was very good when it first came out and then suddenly dropped off. And then there wasn't enough people to maintain the big fight, so it kind of got really small. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, because I wasn't really a PlanetSide player, although I did play it, but not in any kind of major capacity. I just played it for a couple of weeks. So if PlanetSide 2's got to kind of come over that, and it's got to be free to play. It just has to be. It can't be paid. Yeah. But then that how are they going to manage it? I think he did say before in a couple of previous articles that they weren't going to allow you to buy items which enhance you or make you better, just cosmetic stuff and things like that. So it's Sony though, so whether they stick to that, we just don't know, because often the big dollar signs start flashing and it's like, yeah, let's get it in. And of course, if you use Sony, you'll probably get hacked on all your details, Rob. It's happened before. Terrible damage.
But apart from that, it's all good.
It's all good. The next thing is this is going back to the Deus Ex downloadable content.
Yes.
It's called The Missing Link.
The game's only been out for a week. But
I know. I hate this. The story with this is like a point in the game. It's like I'm gagging. I want to tell you about the story because I don't know about it. There's a point in the game where you kind of go missing, but the game doesn't really. It just jumps forward. It's an obvious gap for DLC, and this fills that gap. And that's all you need to know about that. But like as Kirioth said, when a game, the game has literally been built around that DLC. The whole point, it's not like this gap's at the end of the game. It's like in the middle. It's like, oh, there's a gap there. What happened there? Oh, it doesn't matter. I'm suddenly back again. And then the DLC fills that. That's cheap. That's designing a package and then chopping sections out of it. And it's like that Tong mission as well. Everyone was laughing about. You needed to have pre-ordered the game to be able to do a certain mission. It's like...
No.
No, just please. No, that's just garbage behaviour, that is. And I'll admit, I haven't actually watched this Rage 1 minute co-op trailer.
Rage looks mental. That's pretty much all I can say. There's all like big horrible lads look all mutated and stuff, and it's
what's it like? Is it like Borderlands or something like that? I don't know.
It does seem a bit Borderlands-ish, but I'll be honest, I don't know that much about the game. It looks like your standard first-person fare, but seems a bit more mad. The art direction's a bit crazy, and
nuclear holocaust type of thing. Like,
yeah, the action seems to be a bit more sort of visceral and look at me, I've just shot 1 million people up with a massive gun sort of thing. So I don't know, it might be worth having a look at it, but the trailer is quite good. It shows plenty of killing, which is what you want, really.
It's all you can ask for, son. It's all a man can ask for. And coming to the end of our little news thing, there may be new news, but obviously we have to record it at some point because we'd never record it. And what time is it? It's like 2 in the afternoon. Whatever day it is today. Friday the 9th of September. Well, that's right, September the 9th. Good lord. So the From Dust has removed the DRM.
Yeah, it's a step forward for Ubisoft. They've removed their hilarious DRM that claimed you didn't need an internet connection, but you'd need
just for this one game.
Yeah, it's only from Dust, which is like, frankly, was the least of its problems. But it's a bit of progress. It's still a horrible, bug-ridden, half-assed, lazy console port, but you can now play it wherever you like instead of needing an internet connection to play it. So, is there hope for them? Probably not, no. I think they've only done it because they actually said that it would be without DRM and you'd be able to play it without an internet connection, and then the game came out and you could only play it if you authorised it online every time you wanted to play it, and then you could go offline, which is not actually, that's not saying you don't need an internet connection, that's saying you need it once every time you play the game. And so they started getting done by trades descriptions, people got refunds off Steam, and so they've reacted as quickly as Ubisoft ever do, and a mere, week later, they've fixed it.
You've got to ask yourself what goes on in that company. Anyway, right, let's wrap this up. But before we go, what we're going to do at the end of each little gaming news. I mean, gaming news, it will change. It's kind of like, at the moment, it's like a podcast. Well, it is a podcast, and the podcast feed is on iTunes, and I'll put the link in the description. On both the website and on the YouTube upload. But we do ultimately want to film this. Now, I know I say this every time, but we're going to come up with a different format where it's, you know, properly filmed. You know, get some green screens and stuff like that. Do some, you know, some proper damage. So it's like a proper news show. Like, you know, you imagine like the BBC News. It could be quite good. But until we can get that in place, it's just literally going to be a podcast. But going back to the new little features, what we're going to do is recap what's been going on Unit Lost. Like, what I want to do is go over the videos, what have been uploaded. And I'll put a link to every video in the description. Or is that even, do you reckon that's even worth doing that? Because you could just click on the side.
I'd say go to the side. Don't want to spam the lads out links. They might get confused.
They could do. But what are you trying to say there? We've got a bunch of retards following us. Dear oh dear. Anyway, let's go into it. The first clip on September the 2nd was Mountain Blade with Fire and Sword, Crimean a River. See what I did there? Clever lad. It's us playing Mountain Blade. We're totally crazy, and it's an absolute laugh. So you need to watch that. Everybody loves Unit Lost Mountain Blade. The next thing is it pure for Deus Ex Human Revolution. Now, I've obviously been into a lot of detail with that, but I'll go into even more detail on the clip. So check that out. The next thing we've got is Titan Quest with Stylosa and Kirioth. Now, I think Kirioth would like to say a little piece about Titan's Quest.
Well, I knew nothing of the game. I didn't even know it existed until Star said, well, do you want, let's have a game of Titan Quest. At which point I went, right, what the hell's Titan Quest? Turns out it's actually a very good game. It's 2006, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's 2006 Titan Quest.
Yeah, it's sort of, I won't say it's like Diablo. I mean, it's the same sort of game, but it's like you're this crazy Greek Roman lad, and you have to go around killing a bunch of monsters and Egyptians.
It plays like Diablo, don't it? It's a Diablo, you know, it's a hack and slash game, but it's from 2006. And if you look at it, and then look at things like Diablo 3, the graphics on Titan Quest are pretty good. It's like, why is Diablo 3 so dodgy? I know it's still not a final build or whatever, but it's like, it's funny to compare the two, like, and also with things like Torchlight.
It's different. Torchlight's got a massively different style to Titan Quest. Going from one to the other is going to absolutely destroy my eyes because I won't know what's going on.
I kind of want to go and play Titan Quest. What the hell? Torchlight. It's a shame they never fixed that co-op mod thing. Anyway, let's move on. So the next one, we've got an episode of Flanking, Ganking and Ranking League of Legends episode 6. Now it's me and Kirioth on the League of Legends ladder, if you will, slashing people. Obviously, it's pure comedy, so you need to watch that. And then we've got Mr. Jensen, You're Not Real. Now this was me talking about the AI. This shows me standing on top of a box and 3 chaps trying to get me.
Unsuccessfully.
Yeah, very unsuccessful. Then we've got an Is It Pure of Call of Juarez, the cartel. We ain't going to say anything about this because you've just got to go and watch it. It's only 3 minutes and 49 seconds long. Now you might say, that's quite short for an Is It Pure. Well, there are reasons why it's short for an Is It Pure. So check it out. And you can hear him laughing in the background, so it's like, you know something's gone on here. Then we've got an Is It Pure, Rock of Ages. This game's crazy.
Is mad. I mean, I don't understand. They were on something.
If you like comedy, Monty Python and rolling boulders, then you will like Rock of Ages. But go and check the video out. And then we've got a Hard Reset demo gameplay, so you can check that out and it shows off the graphics of Hard Reset. There is a little bit of an issue with the sound on that, so the game sounds actually a little bit quieter than it is. But that was a problem, you know, with us. Then it wasn't a problem with Hard Reset. It was how we recorded it. We fucked up basically. Bad times. And then we've got a first look at Nuclear Dawn beta gameplay. So that basically just looks at the beta state of Nuclear Dawn, which we were given permission to do. It wasn't as if we've just gone in and recorded the beta like knobheads and put it out there, because that's not how we roll. So I mean, there's a good 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 clips there.
Channel timed out.
No? I think he got bored. He got absolutely bored of me talking, and I think this is a good time to wrap it up. So make sure you check out unitlost.com, people, and subscribe to the channel. Follow us on Twitter at UnitLostGaming, and also on Facebook, which is UnitLostGaming, I believe. And we'll catch you next time, people. Hopefully Kirioth's internet's totally broken. I don't have to talk to him again, because between me and you, he makes me sick. Doodaloo, people. Catch you next time. Oh, remember to subscribe on iTunes as well. Doodaloo.